Just waiting a few
Just
seconds.
waiting
for the world.
waiting for the world.
There we go.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
What's going on?
Not much.
We missed you guys last week,
Yeah, we took last week off for the holidays, and
so we won't recap any of those games, but, wasn't good for me.
yeah, he.
And it wasn't good this week either, so. But we'll get into that. But we're going to share in some of these groups here. So more people can see this.
Hopefully get a few people in.
So we can get blocked from some places.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, got blocked from a couple last week.
We got here, Info 2020.
Well, hopefully everyone had a wonderful holiday break, a wonderful Christmas, and got all the presents that you wanted, and
Somewhat.
and hopefully your team won
Shut up.
over the
Shut up.
Christmas break.
Yeah.
So,
Christmas.
Anywho, I guess we'll get started with the NFL Week 16 recap.
Woohoo!
Oh, the Christmas game, the Friday game. Vikings at Saints. 6-8 Vikings at 10-4 Saints.
What do you think happened?
Saints pretty much blew you guys out.
Kind of all happened in the fourth quarter, too, towards the end of the game.
52-33 was the final.
Alvin Kamara went off.
Six
off.
touchdowns.
6 touchdowns. It's kind of how the Viking season's been this year. Just Durant a little bit. The defense is horrible. They're missing a lot of starters. I get that. The beginning of the season, Zimmer came out and said, I've never had a bad defense since I've been in the NFL. After this game, he said, this defense is bad.
And like you said, there are starters out.
There is, but some of these guys have been here for a little while, even though they were backups.
You know the system.
They know the system. I know there's some rookies, but there's no excuse to play this horrible.
Right.
I mean, it's bad. It's real bad. And this team, ever since Zimmer's been here, has been like a top 10 defense. And
so
this year is awful. They got like no cap space next year. They're gonna have to make some harsh decisions this season because they can't afford to pay some of these players what they're paying them. Riley Reese probably gone. He took a pay cut this year to stay, and he's been one of the best offensive linemen they've got, so he's probably going to get paid.
I can see that.
Kyle Rudolph, he really hasn't been playing the last few weeks. They've got Irv Smith playing more now, and he's probably one that could be gone. Anthony Barr's probably gone. Is Danielle Hunter going to want to raise? That's another thing. You got to pay Kirk Cousins $35 million next year.
But honestly, that's probably the best thing you guys can do. Honestly, just pay him and just worry about focusing on developing guys.
I don't know. The way I'm looking at it,
How much does Kirk Cousins have left on his deal?
Like
two years.
You might as well ride the deal out, or at least ride it out through the guaranteed money, and then if he, give him one more year,
because I think
then get rid of him after the guaranteed.
Because I think if they trade him or cut him before, I don't remember what the date is, but I think they'll have to pay him like 20-some million.
Right.
So essentially they may save like 10 million.
Yeah, if he's still guaranteed, you might as well let him ride for one more season.
My issue is if Zimmer's I think Zimmer needs to be gone.
Right.
I like Zimmer, but like we said before, he's too old school. Him and Gary Kubiak. But to pay a quarterback $35 million to hand the ball off to Dalvin Cook, what's the point? Why are you paying that much? I know Kirk put up some good numbers. He does that. He's done that since he played in Washington. If you go back and look at his career, he's always throwing 3,000 plus yards for so many touchdowns.
Right.
But he's not winning you the games.
especially the primetime games. He's got a severe problem.
Yeah,
Monday Night Football.
It's gotten a little better here the past couple of years, but the problem is, to me, they need to draft a young quarterback somewhere in this draft.
Look at Jalen Hurts.
Yeah,
you know what I mean, like.
But my problem is keeping him around. What good is it really going to do you? Just to pay him more and write out his contract, and you're not going to win a Super Bowl. Why do it? Why even take the time to do it? To me, if you're going to make a decision, you make it now, and you go with it, because they've always been stuck in this. We're not rebuilding. They just keep retooling. Oh, we just need a few more people. Whatever. But the offensive line has been an issue for years, and they've drafted players, but they're just not developing. There's a couple that have. But
really, I think for me, your GM's got another year. Zimmer does. You're not going to just trade Cousins with you have no backup plan. No. There's not a backup sitting waiting.
No. That's why you say draft one.
They need something.
That's what I'm saying. Jalen Hurts, Tua, these guys, got drafted and actually sat. Maybe you need a guy that has talent that sits behind Cousins, and the minute Cousins messes up...
Well, they've needed that since he got there.
But I think, like you said, though, before, I think if that does happen, I think Cousins will probably play the worst he's ever played.
Probably.
Just having somebody right
Because he doesn't like having somebody behind him.
He doesn't like the pressure.
Not to mention the kicker problems we've had. Jesus Christ.
Terrible. Now...
But it's just, it's got to get fixed, because it's just...
Do you think, though, this year it's more you're going into it and they're just playing the blame game because your defense...
the defense was bad.
Well, I think that's why Zimmer will still have a job next year, because he'll say, look, it was a COVID season. I had all these injuries. Yep. And I will say, if those guys are back and healthy, the defense is going to be a lot better.
Right.
I mean, they are. Michael Pierce, Danielle Hunter, Anthony Barr, Eric Kendricks has been out for a few games. I mean, that's a lot. Those are Pro Bowl players. You know what I mean? That you don't have. But the problem is, where's the depth behind them?
Right.
Not good.
Probably the best thing you guys can do, though. I know I've said it. If Danielle wants paid more, I'd get rid of him. If you can get something like the way the Mac trade is, you need to retool the whole team.
But the way I look at it, I'd rather have Danielle Hunter than Kirk Cousins. If I had to make a decision to pay Danielle Hunter or pay Kirk Cousins, I'm paying Danielle Hunter. I'm not paying Kirk Cousins to hand the ball off to Dalvin Cook.
Right.
You know what I mean? Why would I do that?
Really, it'd be more get rid of both in the long run.
I think there's other things they could do. I said, Anthony Barr, I don't think has played that great when he did play. They shouldn't have re-signed him. There's a lot of things. They're so loyal to people, and I think that hurts them in the long run because they just feel like, well, they've been here forever. Let's pay them. But sometimes you got to make decisions and let people go.
Right.
So there was also talk about Kirk Cousins. Should they ask him to take a pay cut? Say, if you want offensive line help, take a pay cut.
He might have to.
I don't know. He's so cheap, and it's like, why does he want all this money? He saves like every penny he's got.
But really, you think about it. Do you wish you guys would have kept Diggs after watching last night's game?
No, to be honest with you, no. We got Justin Jefferson, and I think he's going to be just as good. You just got to give him time. I mean, he's tearing it up already.
Now, with this Vikings loss, it puts you guys at 6-9. That officially knocked you out of the playoffs, right? Yep. If I'm correct.
Yep.
So done. Vikings are officially out. Now, on the Saints side, they're now 11-4. Kamara had a 6-touchdown performance. That puts him at 21 touchdowns on the season, which is 15th best single season in history. So he's in the top 15 now with 21 touchdowns on the season.
Now here's a question: Do you think Kamara should be the MVP?
Not MVP of the league. There's no way he's going to take that over Mahomes. But I was talking maybe Offensive Player of the Year. Mahomes gets MVP. I could see him getting that.
Now here's my thing with Kamara though. If you look
it's a top 15 season by a running back.
He's led the team in rushing, and he's leading the team in receiving.
Yeah,
and he's got 21 touchdowns.
He's playing the whole offense.
Right, so if he can pile on maybe 2-3 touchdowns in the final game of the season,
I guarantee you the MVP is going to go to a quarterback.
Yeah, the MVP is definitely going to the quarterback. But I'm talking maybe he could
Offensive Player of the Year.
He could get Offensive Player of the Year if he goes beast mode on the last week of the season.
No.
But here we go. MVP. I don't think Mahomes should get it.
We'll get to Mahomes in a little while, but he hasn't. Yeah. He's been kind of not
going on
that great the last few weeks.
Anyway, Saints are 11-4. Vikings are officially knocked out of the playoffs. Anything else you want to say about the Vikes, or you pretty much got it all off your chest?
No. Hey, there's always next year.
Yeah, always next year.
My thing was why do you think they put Taysom Hill in to have that rushing touchdown?
I don't know.
Kamara could have broke the record.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. It wasn't a good Christmas in that aspect for me. So I kind of knew they were going to lose, but it was pretty bad.
So then we had 3 Saturday games. The first one was the 9-5 Buccaneers at the 5-9 Lions.
God, did the Lions show up or what?
No, they did not. It was a 47-7 blowout. Brady added again. I think he had 348 yards and 4 touchdowns in the first half.
I think they sat him in the third quarter or something. Matthew Stafford got hurt. Chase Daniel came in.
Buccaneers are just completely dominated this game. They're now 10-5. The Lions dropped to 5-10.
I don't know if that says more about the Buccaneers or if it says more about the Lions.
Right.
Because I think they've got their ass whooped a couple of weeks in a row.
Yeah.
So.
I like the Lions are just bad.
It's bad all the way around. I mean, they haven't been relevant for.
Hey, the Vikings get to play them this week.
On the Buccaneers side of things, they put up 47 points. Brady looks like Brady. Everyone calling him noodle arm and losing his arm and all this. I don't know how much to believe. Like I said, was it just the Lions? They're at 10-5. They've got the Bucs in the playoffs where the Patriots are not. So we'll have that conversation another day. But do you think this Bucs team is for real?
No.
Yeah.
You don't.
I don't.
So you guys are kind of split on this.
I don't. I think they've got moments where they are.
Right. I'm kind of with you there.
But do I think they're fully? No.
I honestly think they can go toe-to-toe with anybody in the NFC.
I think so, too. They've got the defense.
The biggest thing is they got Brady.
Right. They've
playoff, clutch.
Right.
That's what you need.
They've got the defense, and now with Brady, I could see if it's a close game, whoever plays them in the playoffs, they're going to have to whoop the Bucs. If it's 23-21, Brady's ball, he can go down and get you in field goal position. I think Brady could.
I don't know. I've seen him at the end of some of these games. I mean, they got 5 losses.
Mm-hmm. They're 10-5 officially.
Some of those games, he's gotten pretty frustrated.
Right.
He hasn't been able to move them down the field. So I think it depends on who they're playing.
Yeah, I could see it either way, but I'm just saying, like you said, it is Tom Brady. If it's a close game, I think if the team that
I think if they're playing a really good defense,
then it's
that offensive line's not very good.
Right.
Brady's been on his back a lot.
Yeah.
So we got the top team. So you got Saints.
Mm-hmm.
That could be. I'd say that's about even. Saints did take the games versus regular season.
And the Saints are missing Michael Thomas right now too.
But if the Bucs go against the Packers,
I think the Packers would win that.
I think the Packers would lose because of the defense.
Oh, really?
Their run defense.
They just beat the Titans.
I don't know. The NFC's weird to me.
Yeah, we'll get there though. But anyways. 47-7 blowout. Not much else to say really about it, because we can talk a little more about playoffs going into our Week 17 games. The next game was the Saturday middle game. It was the 5-9 49ers at the 8-6 Cardinals.
This kind of shocked me.
The 49ers ended up winning 20-12. Now the Niners are pretty much out of it, but these last couple weeks has just kind of been a proving ground, I guess, a little, if that's the right wording, that teams do not tank.
Yeah.
Because you're 5-9, you're out of the playoffs officially, you go out and win the game.
Yeah, and the Cardinals, for some reason,
I can't figure them out.
They've got a lot of talent, and they've showed it this year that they can win a lot of good games, right? Some of these games, but then they just fall apart sometimes, and they get beat by weird teams.
I think we were all taking the Cardinals because we're thinking, the 5-9 49, but the 49ers they showed up. They came to play.
I think the Cardinals, if they do make the playoffs, I still think they're maybe a couple of years away.
Yeah, I agree with you.
They got some growing to do, I think.
So the 49ers are officially 6-9 now, and the Cardinals fall to 8-7. So I guess we'll have to see what happens the final week. to see if the Cardinals can make a push.
The 49ers have been
help,
decimated by injuries all year long. And is Jimmy G going to be back next year, or is somebody else going to be
Richard
there?
Sherman's gone because he said something on his Twitter saying thanks for the opportunity for playing.
Yeah.
So we'll see.
Yeah, we'll see. I guess we'll move on from that one. There's not much else to say about it. Now this one, the 9-5 Dolphins at the 7-7 Raiders.
This was a game.
This was a game. It was a 1-point loss by the Raiders. The Dolphins won 26-25.
And the Raiders had it won too.
Fitzmagic with
face mask.
with a launch, a face mask.
Not even looking,
as he
dude,
was
no
throwing
look.
it, and it was a toe tapper with the 15 yards added on, and it put him into field goal range.
Here's my question.
And the Dolphins hit the field goal to win it.
If you're Josh Jacobs, why don't you just run the ball in the end zone?
Yeah, they screwed up. Well, I don't think they wanted them to. I think Gruden said don't do that. I think they wanted to run more time off the clock. I think they thought they had it in the bag.
Yeah.
But had they done that,
they would have won the game.
They would have won that game. Maybe. I mean,
yeah.
I don't know. That doesn't make any sense. The Raiders, they're kind of like the Cardinals to me right now, where they've won some good games, but then they get beat, and you're like, how the hell? What's going on?
Consistency.
Right. Yeah. And the Dolphins, what's weird about that, if you were Tua, they're taking him out, they're bringing Fitzpatrick in. It's weird, but that's what they're gonna do, I guess. That's what Brian Flores.
He said they can run two different offenses with either one of them.
He said kind of like baseball, bringing in the pitcher at the end, the closer.
Yeah. Fitzpatrick is kind of the closer.
Like, yeah, it's weird.
Which is very weird.
I think it kind of messes with if Tua starts the game, you got to lose the game with him.
Tua seemed, after Fitz did that, they were like bumping into each other, and they seem really close.
Cool,
you know what I mean?
Other,
like,
right.
Which is odd because
now is it mostly probably Fitzpatrick because now Fitzpatrick's more he's more laid back. It seems like it's not like when Lamar took over for Flacco and Flacco wouldn't come in the game.
But what if the Dolphins make the Super Bowl, man, and Fitzmagic comes in there and wins it?
Yeah,
partying with his flannel.
The Dolphins are now officially 10-5. The Raiders fall to 7-8, so they have no hope of a winning season. They could go 500, but they cannot have a winning season.
And the Dolphins right now are
they're a tricky team. Yeah, they're a tricky team. I guess we'll move on to the Sunday earlies. The 10-4 Browns at the 1-13 Jets.
Didn't you say last week that there ain't no way to the Browns?
Well, I didn't know that the Browns were going to have 4 receivers out.
Yeah, the Browns had 4 receivers out, so you have a little bit of an excuse here. But the Jets ended up winning 23-16. Once again, we just talked about the whole issue of do teams tank. This proves to me that teams don't tank.
They started playing at the wrong time.
Right. So the Jets are now 2-13. The Browns fall to 10-5, which puts them in a predicament.
They're still in
where they have to win their final week, or have the Colts lose. But we'll go more into those scenarios. But with this, they should have won this game.
But like I said, I mean this was all sprung up on them. They said it on the game like that morning or something, or
whatever. Four receivers had COVID.
So all of a sudden it's like, oh, you don't have 4 receivers, which is all your starting receivers. Higgins, Landry, Peoples-Jones, and there was another one. So they had like Chubb and Hunt like lining up as receivers.
Right.
You know what I mean? So I get it. I mean, you're kind of thrown into a predicament.
And this is the whole COVID thing.
Yeah.
It's ridiculous.
It could be the Super Bowl one.
Yeah. I mean, what if that happens in the Super Bowl or in a playoff game?
If it's a Super Bowl, they can't postpone and put a game back.
No,
they've got all the stuff lined up. So if the Chiefs are in there, Mahomes is out.
Yeah. What if Mahomes gets COVID a week before, or 3 days before the Super Bowl?
But in all honesty, I think if they would have had those receivers, I think they would have won. I think
I do too.
Not to make an excuse, but I just think they were thrown in to like a weird situation.
I definitely agree.
Because Baker kept throwing it to the tight ends, and it's like.
So the Browns are now 10-5. The Jets are 2-13, and have lost out on the number 1 pick.
Yeah.
So even when you're tanking, the Jets still find a way to mess it up.
So you think Lawrence is finally going to Jacksonville?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, I think Jacksonville.
And I think it's going to be a lot better situation. So
they got a lot of. They got what, 2 first rounders, 2 seconds.
Yep.
Yeah, we'll talk about them.
So we'll move on to the next one. The 5-9 Giants at the 9-5 Ravens.
God, who would have thought?
This was a must-win for your Ravens, and they got it done.
Really, they just stuck to the game plan, ran the ball.
The final score was 27-13,
which we were up by, I think it was 17-0 at halftime. I mean, Ravens side, they ran the ball. Lamar looks good. I mean, our secondary is kind of depleted with injuries.
Is this Ravens team? You guys are 10-5 now officially. You win next week, you're in. Now, is this a team with Lamar, with that his scary dual threat ability? Could you guys make some noise in the playoffs?
I think this is the year. If we don't do it, then I think there's going to be a lot of questions.
Mm-hmm.
I think the AFC is super tough.
That's what I'm getting at. The AFC's tough, but I think the Ravens,
to me,
they have enough talent. To me,
it seems like Lamar's finally starting to click after that Cleveland game. He's finally starting to catch his own. To me, it seems like we're actually running the ball now. Which I don't know if there's been a lot of questioning saying is
Dez Bryant has had a touchdown in the last 2 games. I told you guys that by picking up Dez Bryant that would be good for you.
He's starting to show that he like Daquan Bolden. He can make the catch, and then they've actually been playing Hollywood in the slot.
Yeah, Dez Bryant's not going to be your number 1 anymore, but he's workable. You can, like you said, put him in the slot or put him in the 2, so where he's going against the weaker DB. He can work with that. So I wouldn't put him up against the number 1 DB, but number 2 or the slot. Yeah, Des can work.
Hollywood seems like he's been playing good the past couple weeks too.
Well, that's what he was. Lamar's clicking a little bit. Hollywood's clicking. Dez Bryant's caught a couple touchdowns. This is a team I could see making some noise.
I hope it is.
With the Giants' loss, they're 5-10 now. They've got a big game against Dallas next week.
That's got a lot of complications.
Yes, there's a lot. We'll get into that though. But the Giants fall to 5-10. There's not really much to say about them except the Ravens whooped them, and that was kind of expected. We kind of took the Ravens on that. So the next one was a bit of a shocker here. 3-10-1 Bengals at the 4-10 Texans.
Ryan Finley.
And the Bengals won 37-31.
And after this game,
without Burrow,
J.J. Watt was not happy.
J.J. Watt was not happy.
I think he's going to be gone.
So the Bengals dropped to rise to 4-10-1, and the Texans dropped to 4-11. Let's start with the Bengals. They're out Burrow, but yet they're still performing.
Yeah, they won a couple games.
Now this, I guess I'm going to just say I have a lot of hope. Burrow comes back.
If he can stay fully healthy.
Right, if he can stay fully healthy, I could see the Bengals start to move in the right trajectory. Now, a couple years away, I don't think they're going to be right there immediately, playoff team, but they continue to build around Burrow.
I think they may be more than a couple of years, maybe. You think? Maybe 3 or 4.
Yeah, a couple years.
Yeah, I'd say. Problem is they'll probably start getting good by the time they got to pay him on his next deal.
Right. Then you got to pay him, and then you get bad again.
You're gonna start losing people.
Now on the Texan side of things, we'll go into the J.J. Watt now. They're 4-11. J.J. Watt went off.
Yeah, in his press conference afterward.
His conference, he was calling it players that he's saying we get paid a lot of money.
For people to not try, people spend their hard-earned money to come see you. You got to play. And I think, listening to him, there's obviously something going on. There's obviously players that are not trying.
Watt is a known, passionate player. Watt was one of the players in the Pro Bowl. When the Pro Bowl kind of got called out, he went out there and actually got a bloody face, and he had a scratch on his face. And I mean, the Pro Bowl, he wanted to show that I'm gonna play even if it doesn't mean anything.
Really? To be honest, him and Watson are about the only ones that look like they're trying.
Right. So Watt is a known player to get really invested in it, and that's good. That's a very good thing.
Really, you don't see that anymore.
But
really, you don't really hear these guys complain about pretty much calling the whole team out.
Right.
Well, there probably is a lot of these guys that are getting paid, and they're like, "God, we're terrible." So I'm not.
Do you think one? Do you think one of them might be Larry Tunsil? Get paid all that money?
I feel so bad for Watson, man.
Yeah,
he should not have signed that contract. That franchise is in just Bill O'Brien just fucked that whole franchise over, trading all these picks, and they're in a bad spot. Whatever head coach takes us over, they've got a lot of work to do because
you got a quarterback, but not much else.
And we don't know how Watson feels. He may not even want to be there. I mean, the guys. They were saying on that game that if you look at his numbers, he's just as good as Mahomes, and he's running for his life. You know what I mean? Like he doesn't have a good team, but yet he's still performing like Mahomes.
Right, stat-wise.
You can't sit here and think like, well, he signed the deal.
No, I agree. Yeah, he did.
Yeah, it's his own fault there.
But did he sign that deal before Hopkins got traded?
Yeah, I believe.
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
I mean,
so he was thinking, okay, we're gonna be in this with the long run, and then Hopkins gets traded.
But my thing is, I don't. It's kind of hard telling. But why would you trade him? I mean, you're gonna eat a whole lot of cap. I mean, unless the team,
I don't know if they will or not, but.
Anyways, Bengals are 4-10-1. Texans are now 4-11. The next game, the 7-7 Bears at the 1-13 Jaguars. I took the Jaguars. Yeah. The Bears ended up winning 41-17. I kind of figured the Bears would win, but I was just taking the Jaguars just to spice my picks up.
I was just thinking about the defense against the Jags. You know what I mean?
But now the Bears are now 8-7 and have an opportunity at the playoffs. They started undefeated, then they showed us who they really were.
Which wasn't good. And
the last 4 weeks, there's only one team that has scored 30-plus points in all 4 games.
Yeah, what the hell's going on?
And it's not Mahomes. It's not Roethlisberger. It's the Bears.
The Bears.
Now, is the Bears' offense starting to heat up at the right time?
My thing is, I think it's a lot of David Montgomery.
Yeah,
starting to click a little bit. Things are starting to work a little bit. Now, the Bears are 8-7 with this, so they're still kind of on the outside trying to push in for a wild card spot.
They're a very confusing team because, like you said, they won those games at the beginning, and people were like, "Oh, they're pretty good." Then it's like, "Yeah, but you're beating crappy teams." And then all of a sudden they started losing
to all the good teams.
Yeah, and then it's like, "Wow, see."
And they beat the Jaguars 41.
And see, we got to think too. Who they beat the Jaguars? Okay.
Right. So how real is this?
And they beat the Vikings, but the Vikings beat them earlier in the season. But the Vikings' defense is not good.
So
it's like it's hard to say. I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't know how good they are.
I don't need, but like I said, they're 8-7. They can potentially get into the wild cards, so that's good for Bears fans. The Jaguars with the loss are now 1-14.
Trevor Lawrence, baby.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is going to be going there, and I think you were kind of saying a few minutes ago they have a couple first-round draft picks.
2 firsts, 2 seconds.
2 firsts, 2 seconds. It's not the best team, obviously. They're 1-14. But you have draft picks to build with.
And they've got James Robinson at running back already.
Yeah. So they have a few pieces. So this would be an enticing job potentially, especially with knowing that you pretty much got Trevor Lawrence locked up if you want him.
Yeah.
And most likely that's where he's going to go. It is a better position, I honestly think, even though the Jets have one more win, this is a better destination for Lawrence. I believe that.
Here's a question.
Wholeheartedly.
I think the Jets organization is toxic all around.
If you're the Jags, would you trade that first-round pick, knowing that you have 2 firsts and 2 seconds? Would you trade that and get? I mean, because what you probably
get some more depth.
I wouldn't trade it.
I wouldn't either. You got
2 first-round picks.
Take Lawrence and then take your next guy.
Well, what if they're high on Mac Wilson?
I don't think so.
You got 2 first round. You take now. If this was your only pick, then I could see trading down.
But before when the Jets had the number 1 pick, if I were the Jets, I feel like it's weird because the Jets have one more win, but I think the Jets are farther away because if you look at their overall team, it's just not good.
Right.
I mean, but we were talking about the Jags. You got a good running back. He was undrafted, right?
Yep.
And he's been tearing it up. Mm-hmm. You've got some decent receivers.
Well, because if I'm looking at it, if you look at recent track records for all these teams that have traded up for a quarterback, normally it doesn't work out. Mm-hmm. RG3. Who was the other one? Who traded up for another quarterback?
Trubisky.
Yeah,
the Bears. Yeah. The Bears traded up for Trubisky.
To me, if some team comes stupidly knocking saying they're going to give you 2 to 3 first-round picks.
I mean, yeah.
I don't know.
I don't think they would give that just for one.
I think they're going to. I think they'll take him. I think it's.
That's a debate for the offseason, though. We will, we can talk more about the draft.
Like I said, it's a good situation for him. I think a better situation.
Yeah.
So the next game is the 4-10 Falcons at the 13-1 Chiefs. This was a little bit tighter game than what people kind of expected. We all kind of took the Chiefs, but it was only a 17-14 win, and the Falcons had a 14-10 lead in the fourth quarter before Mahomes drove them down to put them up by 3.
And it all came down to a missed field goal at the end.
Yeah,
for the Falcons.
Young Hoku. He ended up missing the field goal there, which would have sent it to overtime. It is what it is. The Falcons have kind of done this. They're now 4-11. On the Falcons side of things, they actually have played some tight games. They played my Cowboys early on in the season.
They fall apart at the end of the game.
Fell apart. There was another couple games that they had following that Cowboys game that the ESPN statistics, whatever, they do percentage on what. They had a couple games where they were in the 90s. The Cowboys game was a 99% chance that the Falcons would win. We got that was before the onside kick. Yeah. Once we got the onside kick, then the projection Cowboys ended up winning. 99% chance. All they had to do was recover that onside kick. But then a couple other games, they were in the 90s as well. And then this one, they had a lead on the Chiefs, the best team in the league. I don't understand these Falcons. That's 3-4 wins. They're 4-11 now.
Their teams actually, they've got good players on both sides.
Right, that's what I'm saying. I don't understand why they're not.
There was an article that came out about the ownership saying that if they get a coach in there that has an actual plan, that they're open to get rid of Matt Ryan and Julio.
Right. But, I mean, Matt Ryan and Julio has had their time there.
You better get something out of nothing.
Right.
When you got Ridley. So.
So I kind of agree with that. Like, Matt Ryan's had his opportunity. Julio's... If you can move on and get decent picks, draft picks, start the rebuild, that's fine.
No.
On the Chiefs side of things, they're now 14-1. They've won 10 games in a row. This game was tighter than what they thought it would be. The good news is it was the win. They locked up the number 1 seed so they can choose to rest if they want to, but then that would mean they're going to get 2 weeks of rest. I don't personally like that.
I bet they do.
What happened to the Ravens, and that didn't turn out well.
Right. When you get too much rest, you come into that divisional game a little bit rusty. It's rest versus rust.
Maybe they'll have them play the first half or something.
Right. I do agree that they need to play though.
My thing, this is me. I know they're 13-1, but to me, I don't.
They're 14-1.
Well, I'm 14-1, but I don't know. It seems like Mahomes they're kind of playing sloppy.
Yeah, they've played, like I said, this game was really tight, but they've played tight the last 4 to 5 weeks.
I honestly think when it comes to playoffs, I think some team will upset them.
Yeah, they're becoming to that point where we call it you're due for a loss.
Yeah.
They've won 10 in a row.
You're due.
They're due for a loss, and the playoffs is right around the corner. So they're either going to win. If they win the next one, it would be 11 in a row, and then they would have to win another 3. So they would be on a 14-0 stretch to win the Super Bowl. Can they do that? I don't know.
It's not looking promising.
Now, if you lose your last game, does that kind of reset you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because you get the loss out of the way, but it wouldn't be Mahomes losing it. That would be the problem.
I think they're going to get upset.
I think so,
too. I don't think they're going to
too.
be in the Super Bowl.
I mean, because who do we have right now that you guys think could upset them?
The Bills.
Yeah.
I think the Ravens could.
The Ravens, the Bills. I think the Steelers could if they're on all cylinders.
I don't think
But
the Titans
I don't
will,
think the Steelers-
just because Titans, there's some holes in that team.
I don't think
And
the
I've seen
Steelers
that the
will,
last few
but I
weeks.
think that they could if they're clicking on all cylinders.
Even the
So-
Browns, if they're
See,
Right,
I've seen
clicking
the,
on
I've
all
seen the Browns
cylinders.
play really, really good.
Right.
Yeah.
It just depends on if they're clicking or not. So I guess we'll move on from that one though. The 10-4 Colts at the 11-3 Steelers is our next game up. Now
Another
Phillip
close one.
Rivers played pretty well in the first half. Man, that touchdown, put him up 21-7. That was a classic Phillip Rivers touchdown. The receiver was going up looked to do an out route, cut it back up. Rivers kind of followed the pocket. He shifted himself because the TJ Watt or whatever. He shifted, pulled up in the pocket, launched it.
He shifted it like only Rivers can do.
No, I'm saying like it's classic Rivers though. He followed the pocket. He shifted as the pocket shifted. Threw a dart.
He has such a weird throwing style.
But
too.
then the second half came around. The Steelers just kind of dominated that second half. I don't know what happened to the Colts. Colts are my second favorite team. So
Colts are another one of those teams too where they played really good, but then some of these losses. I mean, they did play the Steelers, but
the Steelers won 28-24. I don't know if I said that officially.
Yeah.
So the Steelers are now 12-3. The Colts fell to 11-5. But like I said, you had a 24-7 lead, 17-point lead. The Colts should have at least been able to tack a field goal or two on in the second half.
sometimes these teams that have these big leads seem like they take their foot off the gas.
Yep, I think that's exactly what
they think,
happened.
we're way ahead, but no, teams come back just like that.
So that with the Steelers winning that, they're 12-3 now, and that kind of put a halt to their skid. That they were 11-0 and then lost 3 in a row and then won this one.
So Steelers are either going to lock up the second or the third seed. So,
and we'll talk about that a little bit more
they're playing the Ravens.
into our pick'ems. But I do know that the Steelers have said that they want to rest some starters.
Yeah.
So I don't really think they care about the second seed. They're more worried about being
Mason
healthy.
Rudolph starting.
Yeah, Mason Rudolph starting. But we'll get into that in our pick'ems.
the revenge game coming up.
So we'll move on to the final Sunday early game. The 4-10 Panthers at the 6-8 football team.
Speaking of the football team,
Ooh, this is the big news that kind of came out.
Dwayne Haskins, he gone.
He gone.
He was caught at a strip club.
You know, the
It's
more
too bad.
Seems like a weird time to let go of your.
But the Panthers won the game 20-13. Haskins lost the game and then goes out and parties. I think the team had an issue with that. Obviously,
because
they released him. So
well, he was out. He left and didn't even come to any of the events, the PR stuff.
No, and I did see a couple people had posted online
There, he was told to go home.
where he's just sitting on the bench, and like
Alex Smith and them.
they're like looking over the game plan, and he's just like this, looking off the other way, like he just doesn't
he
give a
doesn't
crap.
care.
I saw something earlier that had the whole timeline of everything he's done. And it was talking about, I think it was his first win, where he didn't even stay on the field to go kneel the ball. He was out in the crowd taking selfies.
Yeah. Oh yeah, that was
It's
earlier
like
this season.
it reminds me of like a Johnny Manziel situation.
He just went
Even
to
though
party.
Manziel was the number one pick.
From that thing I
but-
was reading, it was, don't know really the source, if it's completely honestly true, but it said, he was graded as a third round. And then supposedly he went to high school with the Suns owner.
No.
Oh,
Which,
Yeah.
okay.
that's why they end up taking him up in the first round. But supposedly he's never paid attention to the meetings. He doesn't put in all the time,
Yeah, all the effort that he should.
Like I said, no Ohio State quarterback is worth the shit. They never have.
I don't know why either.
The only one that really had a career was Troy Smith, but he was still a backup.
Yeah, not really a Super Bowl quarterback.
I understand they had to cut their losses, but they're in a situation right now where they could win that division and make the playoffs, and Alex Smith's been hurt. You don't really have anybody. I mean, they brought Taylor Heineke in. I mean, is that guy going to lead you?
Right.
I mean,
Is he going to win this game against?
So I mean, I understand they had to do it, but then it's also a weird time to do it too. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So with all that being said, the Panthers did get the win. They're now 5-10. The football team dropped to 6-9, and that opened the door for 69. The Cowboys and Giants to potentially take the division. But we'll talk about that in the pick-ons.
Too bad the Vikings weren't in that division.
Right.
Any team.
So we'll move on to the Sunday lates, the 4 p.m. games. The 5-9 Broncos at the 5-9 Chargers.
Close game again.
Close game. The Chargers did pull the win out though, 19-16.
Herbert,
baby Huey.
Yeah, Herbert's looking like the answer.
He's going to be the rookie of the year then. So.
He is looking like the answer there for the Chargers. The Broncos fall to 5-9. The Chargers rise to 5-10. The Chargers rise to 6-9.
Not really much to say about them. I mean, they're kind of both teams that are same division and they're kind of
barrel.
equal. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we'll move on to the next one then. The 9-5 Rams at the 10-4 Seahawks. This was a better game than what a lot of people kind of expected. Russell Wilson clutch at the end. Mm-hmm. They were up 13-9, and he took them on a 6 or 7 minute drive. I think there were still 3 minutes to go or something, but long drive, ate a little bit of the clock up, put a touchdown on the board to go up 20-9, which meant that the Rams had to score twice in just a couple minutes, and that was too much.
Rams are a team that they're one of those other baffling teams. Where they're, yeah, I mean they can show up and play really well, and the next thing you know they're getting beat by the Jets.
That's like on the Rams side, kind of looking. We see a lot of these teams' consistency.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think that it's time to get rid of McVay?
I don't think that
in another year or two. I mean,
maybe in a couple of years. I mean, not right now.
They
got a winning record right now. I mean,
yeah.
I feel like with it,
they got a lot of money wrapped up in that team.
I feel like the Rams are kind of like they're this version of the Falcons.
Mm-hmm.
Goff's kind of like Ryan. He can win you the game, but it seems like he can't get you over the hump sometimes.
Right.
No.
So the Rams fall to 9-6. The Seahawks go up to 11-4, and they lock that division. So they locked the NFC West.
Mm-hmm.
So they locked the NFC West with that victory. Like I said, classic Wilson. The Seahawks are a team that scares me. Once it gets into the playoff time, I think they could upset anybody.
They still have that problem with their defense. So.
Yeah, they do. This game was okay though.
Yeah,
they won 20-9 and didn't allow a touchdown. Mm-hmm. So if the Seahawks can play like that against the more elite teams, I could see them because, like I said, Wilson has that clutch factor. Close game.
Yeah, if it's its fourth quarter and there's a few minutes left and Wilson has the ball.
It's scary.
Pretty much gonna score.
Yeah. All right, now this next one. 4-9-1 Eagles at the 5-9 Cowboys. This started a little scary. The Cowboys were down 14-3 early, and I was thinking, here we go again.
Where's Romo the homo?
Here we go again. Blowout Central. Eagles are going to take it. But no. Cowboys came back. We ended up winning the game 37-17. Mm-hmm. So we only allowed 3 points in the second half. I was proud of our boys for making a comeback and keeping ourselves in the thick of the NFC East race. I know it's a 6-10, 6-9 records. We would not win any other division, but the way that it's currently set up,
you guys
have that opportunity.
You guys are tied with the Vikings.
You know how bad that is? There's one 10-5 team on the AFC that won't make it in.
Yeah, and then the 6-9 team or 7-9 team potentially makes it in. Anyways, the 4-9-1 Eagles on their side, Jalen Hurts does look like the answer.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what's going to happen with Wentz. But Hurts came in, played well, and then he did kind of fall off a little bit. But I think that's just a testament to the Cowboys kind of tightening things up a little bit.
Well, I know
that's going to happen. He's a rookie quarterback.
Well, I know Wentz already said that he's a starter. So they're probably going to end up trading him. Mm-hmm. See, the problem this offseason with all these teams
was a COVID season.
Well, I mean, look at the teams you got. I mean, say the Falcons move on from Matt Ryan. Say the Eagles move on from Wentz. Say the Lions move on from Matthew Stafford.
Winston's a free agent.
That would be
Cam Newton's probably not going to be in New England, I bet. Yeah. So you got all these quarterbacks. Where are these quarterbacks going to go? You know what I mean?
Right.
There's so many young quarterbacks in the league right now.
I can see it.
Where are they going?
Well, then you got these rookies coming in.
Yeah, there's a bunch of
Jalen Hurts, Tua, Lawrence, the Jaguars.
Well, I mean, in this draft, there's probably 4 or 5 starters in this draft. They think so.
I mean, I think Brady said it best. I'm not the biggest fan of Brady, but Brady did say it. I think he had a quote that was along the lines of, "There's always the guy behind you that could take your job." I don't know exactly how the quote was worded, but it was along those lines.
Yeah, I think it was worded kind of, when your number's called, you got to show up because, there's, like you said, there's always somebody that's right behind you. It doesn't matter if you're a first-round pick or a sixth-round pick.
So
there's there's really not a lot of teams that need quarterbacks either. I mean, and the ones that are, we're going to draft them.
Because really, we got Jags, Lawrence. Jets.
Yep.
I mean, it could be Fields. It could
Wilson.
be Wilson.
Yeah.
I mean, who else?
Or just keep Darnold.
Patriots are going to need a quarterback.
Patriots, Redskins.
Now the Patriots that's a good looking position if you're a decent quarterback.
You know what my thing is though? I think Belichick would rather have a veteran. I think I could see Stafford going.
Oh yeah.
Right, Stafford or Wentz. I could see Belichick working with Wentz, but. Anyways, we'll move on to the Cowboys side of things. 37-17. We're 6-9 now. I believe CD Lamb had 2 touchdowns, and then Cooper had 2 touchdowns. Not Cooper, Gallup. Yep. Gallup had a couple touchdowns. So it was a real good all-around game. Red Rifle, Andy Dalton.
The Blue now.
Yeah, Blue Rifle. Andy Dalton came in, swung it around a little bit. Like I said, he kind of spread the ball around. A couple touchdowns to cut,
Well, seeing how the team's playing now, what do you think about Dak? You think Dalton can run the team?
Man, yeah, Dalton has ran the team the last couple weeks.
There's a lot of money.
Who did you guys play last week?
I don't remember.
Because you won last week, didn't you?
Yeah, we won a couple in a row now.
Yeah, because it was Pollard the one that took. Was it? I want to say it was the Lions, but I don't think it was.
I don't know.
George's gonna look it up. But while he's looking that up, we'll move on to the next game. It was the 10-4 Titans at the 11-3 Packers.
It was a Sunday night game.
Sunday night game.
And I didn't expect this. Packers win this one 40-14.
49ers was that team.
40, yeah, that's right, the 49ers.
So you got to look, though. Your Cowboys are beating the Eagles and the
49ers. Right. Is it real?
Kind of like the Bears.
Is it real?
Middle of the road teams.
Yeah.
So, moving on to the 10-4 Titans at the 11-3 Packers. You were saying
Packers won this game 40-14.
Devontae Adams had 3 touchdowns.
Oh yeah, where are the Titans, man? Derrick Henry couldn't get it going really, and that's the problem though. Derrick Henry doesn't get the ball going.
Then
they're fine.
He'll struggle.
Yeah, they need the run game,
and that's going to hurt him in the playoffs because there's some of these teams got some pretty good defenses.
So Packers are now 12-3. I mean, they're hanging right there with the Saints, man. I don't know. The Packers are one of those. Like I said, they do have a weak defense, but they shut the Titans down pretty well.
And see, the Packers decently. Are really bad at run defense, and they shut Henry down this week. So maybe they just dared Tannehill to throw it.
Yeah, is it just clicking, or I mean, Rodgers has played well.
But I know you don't like the Packers. I know he does every year.
The thing with Rodgers
when he plays,
he looks. This might be one of the better years he's had.
I think the offense is starting to click with them, with Matt LaFleur, and I know when he first got there, they didn't really.
Well, hell,
I don't think they liked each other, or
if I'm correct,
Jordan
you can correct me if I'm wrong. I believe they went 13-3 last year.
Yeah.
So 13-3 last year. 12. Matt LaFleur and Rodgers.
No.
They're playing well together. I mean, even if they don't like each other.
The shocking
thing is clicking in.
Can you imagine if they actually drafted him some help?
Right.
Like a receiver or...
yeah.
Because really, they could have had CD Lamb.
Yeah, they could have. I'll go back to it. The Wentz,
I mean, I don't want to think about them doing that.
Well, I know, I hear you. But Wentz, Jalen Hurts got drafted there, and Wentz played like shit. The pressure was on. I don't know what happened, but I don't remember the kid, Jordan Love, is that his name? Jordan Love got drafted there.
But see,
Rodgers stepped up.
Yeah, but Rodgers played good last year, too.
Right.
You know,
but I'm just saying
I kind of think they wasted that draft.
I'm saying that taking Love,
yeah.
I think that, Rodgers said, I'm going to go out and show you motherfuckers.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? That's kind of what I think happened.
One thing that
it pissed him off.
One thing that baffles me is like with the Packers, Devontae Adams is always open.
Yeah, it's weird, isn't it?
He's the number one, and everybody knows it, but he gets double teamed and still gets the ball.
Yeah.
Because I think they kind of force feed it to him.
But Rodgers is good enough where he can put that ball on a dime.
But that's why they need
anywhere.
Another receiver, though. I mean,
because really,
just imagine what they would have done with the real.
Well, could you imagine if Rodgers would have had like Calvin or
Julio? Don't even go there.
I just went there.
Anyways, Packers is 12-3. The Titans fall to 10-5. And that puts the Titans in a spot where they could lose this division to the Colts now after that loss. Yeah. So we'll move on to the Monday night game. The 11-3 Bills at the 6-8 Patriots. The Bills won 38-9. The Bills are 12-3 now. The Patriots have their first official losing season.
Did you guys watch the game?
They're now 6-9.
That's pretty bad.
I did not because I don't have ESPN.
Bill Belichick.
Mm-hmm.
He's pissed.
He had a phone, threw it. They asked him about it after, and he's...
yeah. But the Patriots are 6-9, first losing season in 19 years, man.
And the
Patriots had a hell of a run.
And they actually sat Cam Newton.
Mm-hmm.
It was like the third quarter, I think.
Now
Stidham came in.
Here's the question: there's this debate going on. Do you think if Brady was still on this Patriots team, they'd make the playoffs?
This team's not very good.
Yeah, I don't know.
And, they are missing, not offensively, but they are missing some defensive players.
Mm-hmm.
But
Brady has the Bucs at 10-5, but I do think the Bucs are more talented
The offense is better
than the Patriots.
But I think with the Patriots, if Newton is playing horrible,
I'm gonna say they would be about the same, or maybe go 9-7 with Brady.
It's bad.
I don't think that they would have went 12-4.
Yeah, they struggled last year at times too. If you watch some of those games,
Brady bailed them out on a couple of them.
So
I would say 9-7 maybe.
Cam Newton looked terrible. I mean, there were some games he didn't even have
100
yards. He didn't even have 100 yards passing.
Patriots are officially out of the playoffs, and obviously the Bills.
And it's like they swept them too. The Bills won both. That's the first time that's happened since what was it?
So
where do you?
I don't remember what year. It was like
really,
forever
where do you guys
ago.
think the Patriots go from here? I mean, obviously, you
have to go for a quarterback. You take a vet. You take a vet.
I think Belichick could leave.
Yeah. He's done it long enough.
He may even just retire and say, I'm done. What does he really got to prove anymore?
He's got 8 rings.
Yeah, I mean...
He's got 6 rings as the Patriots head coach and then 2 as a coordinator. So he's got 8 fucking rings,
I guess
dude.
with him, it's kind of... I mean, really, because there's not really... Would you want to go to another rebuild?
But do you know, any of these teams that need a head coach, they would take him in a second.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Doesn't matter who it is.
I don't know if he's going to be done, but...
Imagine if he went to Jacksonville.
Right. So, with that... we'll kind of wrap it up with our win-loss. I'm now leading.
Oh, lovely.
I went 11-5. I'm now leading all 3 of us. I'm 153-87.
It's the first time this whole season. It only took you till week 16.
Yeah.
I'm getting there. So
and
I went 9-7.
So you're second place now.
So I'm 151-89.
I went 11-5, so I'm at 140-101.
You're almost there.
So you technically can do it, and we're gonna run through the playoffs as well with our win-loss, so that way we can see if potentially
because there's gonna be some
can get shaken up with us, but
there's gonna be less. There's gonna be some teams sitting players, and
so this week's kind of a
we will try to run through this decently quickly. The Sunday early games. Oh, one thing. There's no Thursday games. There's no Monday games. It's all Sunday.
There's a lot of 4 o'clock, 4:25 games, which is weird.
There's a lot of 1s, a lot of 4s, and then there's one Sunday night game. Yeah. So we'll start with the early ones. The 10-5 Dolphins at the 12-3 Bills. To my knowledge, both teams are going to be playing starters.
Because the Bills are trying to play for the 2 seed.
Yeah.
Yeah. And the Dolphins are playing for a spot.
Yes, they're playing for a spot.
Man, this one's...
I think the Dolphins could upset them.
You know what?
Man, the Bills are clicking, though, man.
Yeah, they are.
My problem is, are they going to play all their starters? I mean, if
that's the thing. I don't know.
I mean, because really, Buffalo, they're in.
They're in
regardless.
They're going to be 2 or 3. Same with the Steelers we're talking about. I mean,
the Steelers are not playing starters.
Trying to throw this out.
So I don't know.
Ravens are number 6 right now, so we either can play the Bills or Pittsburgh. I'd rather play Pittsburgh.
I don't know who really to pick though.
I'm going to take the Dolphins.
Because the Dolphins are fighting for it.
I'm gonna go on a limb and say the Bills, even if they start most of their guys. If there's a guy that has like a nagging injury, they're going to sit that person. You know what I mean? Like maybe not all starters will play. I'm going Dolphins.
I gotta go Bills. I gotta try to pick a few different this week.
You're right. I'm gonna go Dolphins. I think.
Okay, I'm 1-0.
Because they are fighting for that spot.
You got to win like all 16, and we have to lose all.
The next one we got the 10-5 Ravens and the 4-10-1 Bengals. I think we're all going to pick this one.
Yeah, I'm going to go Ravens on this one.
Now the Bengals have killed us a couple times at the end of the year.
Yeah, but Ravens are playing to win. They played good last week. I think things are starting to click a little bit. Ravens.
Next one we got the 12-3 Steelers and the 10-5 Browns.
Mason Rudolph's playing for the Steelers.
Yeah.
Myles Garrett's going to hit him in the head with his helmet again.
You talked me into the Browns just by saying that. So, yeah, I got to go Browns.
And the Browns are fighting for that spot.
The Steelers are resting key starters, like you said.
And their receivers should be back. So
the next one, we got the 6-9 Vikings and the 5-10 Lions.
I know I got to take the Vikings. Because
the Lions played bad last week, and the Vikings are going to do that bullshit where they're not going to tank.
No.
Here's a question.
And you don't want to tank, but at some point you'd think, should you just rather lose to get that better draft pick?
I was looking at
I
was looking at their playoffs or their draft scenarios. They can go as far down as 9th up to 15th.
Yeah, or 15th if you want.
So odds are they're not going to be 9th. A lot of things have to happen. Like 3 or 4 teams have to lose all the same. I mean, I think they're going to be picking around that 13.
Yeah, 12, 13, right?
Now, if you're the Vikings, you're out of the playoffs. Do you play Cousins and Cook? Do you play Cook just?
Well, we're taking the Vikings. You're going to try to switch me over here.
Are the Lions? Then you can say the same thing for the Lions.
Yeah, because they're out of it too. I'm going to stick with Vikings.
Vikings are already playing their backup defensive player.
right.
Next one, we got the 2-3 Jets and the 6-9 Patriots. You know what?
Oh, you're going to do
it.
it.
Going Jets.
I'm thinking about going Jets too, but
you know what? I got to go Patriots.
I think
I'm going to go Patriots as well.
The way to finish out Belichick's career with the Patriots.
Yeah.
So next one, we got the 6-9 Cowboys and the 5-10 Giants.
I got to do it. I got to go Cowboys.
I'll go Cowboys.
I've got belief in them that we can win this.
Well, I think the Giants, they had a few games there where they started playing I think they're kind of falling off again. I don't think they're that good.
I do too. Now, the Giants scare me, though, because it's a divisional game. We know each other well. They do scare me, but I got to go Cowboys. I'm wearing my Cowboys shirt. Yeah. I got to go Dallas.
Next one, we got the 4-11 Falcons versus Tom Brady.
Yep.
I got to go Buccaneers.
Yeah, I'm going to go Buccaneers.
Because they're still playing, right? So
the Falcons just played the Chiefs really well, though.
Yeah, but Falcons can't play Brady.
Yeah.
So next one, we got the late games for Sunday with 11-4 Saints and the 5-10 Panthers. Now, I mean, I don't know if Brady is Brady.
Yes.
I
think they would be
starting
because the
Packers, they have the number 1 seed right now, but see, they could lose. With that.
I don't know if the Saints can take the 1 or not if the Packers lose.
I go Saints.
I'm going to go off on a limb and say the Saints are going to play starters. I'm going to go Saints.
Yeah.
Next one, we got 12-3 Packers and 8-7 Bears. I'm going Packers.
The Bears are fighting for that playoff spot.
I'm going Bears. Now it was the Jaguars. They put 41 up on the Jaguars, but I have a sneaky...
I'm going Packers.
I have a sneaky suspicion the Bears are going to win this game.
Next one we got the 6-9 Chargers and the 14-1 Chiefs. Now
the Chiefs are sitting people.
I'm gonna go Chargers. I'm gonna go Chargers because of that fact, and I think they're kind of due for a loss, like we were talking earlier.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Chargers because I think Herbert. With Herbert playing, Chiefs resting people. Because the Chargers are pretty decent. I mean,
I'm going Chiefs.
You go Chiefs has to be different. The 7-8 Raiders at the 5-10 Broncos.
I'm gonna go Raiders.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Raiders.
I'm gonna go Raiders as well. I think they're gonna finish.
I got a feeling that Broncos could pull this one out.
Yeah, I mean it's a divisional game.
Next one we got the 10-5 Titans and the 4-11 Texans.
Well, the Titans are.
I'm gonna go Titans as well, but it would not shock me after that speech that Watt gave if the Texans played well.
Next one we got the 1-14 Jags and the 10-5 Colts.
I'm gonna say the Colts are gonna win this one.
Yeah, I mean they're good.
The Colts have to win it, and they have to have help as well.
We're going Colts as well. Next one we got the 8-7 Cardinals and the 9-6 Rams.
Now see this one.
This could be a toss-up either way.
Both these teams are fighting. Now see, I don't know if the Rams lose,
then the Bears get in.
And then if the Rams lose and the Cardinals win, that puts both of them at 9-7.
Yeah,
so
I don't know who.
Well, let's look, everybody.
Plus, they're both in the same division.
So the Los Angeles can clinch playoff berth with a win and a Chicago loss.
What about Chicago?
What about the Cardinals?
Cardinals.
I'm looking. Whatever pops up. Okay, Chicago can clinch with a win, an Arizona loss, and then obviously if they both tie. Arizona can clinch if they win or Chicago loses.
So it's kind of the same situation.
Yeah.
So if Chicago loses,
Arizona,
one of these teams are going to be in.
Right, one of those teams are guaranteed.
So they're both going to be fighting for that spot.
The Bears have to win. I'm taking Bears. I think the Bears won it a little more than Packers. Packers might be risking.
So Cardinals, Rams, who wants it more? Who wants that playoff spot more? I'm going to go with
I'm going with the Rams just because they got beat by a really good Seattle team.
You're going Cardinals.
And the Cardinals haven't played well.
I'm gonna go Cardinals too. Ooh. Just because I think that's the only other game. I picked one other game different.
This is a good week, guys, because we're picking some different teams here. We got different ideas going on.
Next one we got the 11-4 Seahawks and the 6-9 Niners. Is Russell Wilson playing?
I think they.
And the Saints are 11-4, the Packers are 11-3, the Seahawks are 11-4. I'm gonna go Seahawks. I think the Seahawks are gonna be playing starters because they're gonna want that better seeding.
Next one we got the night game, 6-9 football team and the 4-10.
We'll see in here.
Why is this your Sunday night game?
We'll see in here. Well, it's because the division's on the line. I think because if the football team wins, they're in.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I'm gonna go Eagles.
And see,
I think Jalen Hurts gets it going.
And I don't know if
Dallas gets in.
And I don't know if Alex Smith. They said it's possible he might play.
I'm going Eagles.
So if he plays,
I'm going football team.
You gotta do that to my Cowboys.
If Alex
Smith plays, I think they're gonna win.
I know. I guess it's a superstition.
And to be honest with you, I would think that Ron Rivera thinks that Alex Smith's going to play, or else they wouldn't have got rid of Haskins. Because you got Taylor Heineke. I mean, that's not going to put you in.
I'm taking Eagles, and I'm not changing it. It might be a superstition thing because I got to take my Cowboys.
If I knew Alex Smith wasn't going to play,
this could end up being the time that the football team wins the division.
At 7-9,
and they've never lost the division because obviously
the team with the new name.
Then they would change their name. All right, that finishes that up. We will be back next week, next Tuesday.
And then the playoffs will be set.
Yeah, the playoffs will be set.
We're gonna be going over the playoffs. Can I see what we got?
Playoffs.
Yeah.
Just try to win a game.
Practice.
Practice makes perfect.
Who needs practice? Ain't nobody need practice.
Alrighty, anyone that did watch, thanks for watching. Looks like we're down to one viewer at this point.
One viewer.
Have a wonderful new year. We'll see you guys after the new year.
Peace out.
Like and subscribe.
Like it.
Like it.